Hello, strangers from the web. My name is John, and what I do, or who I am, is not important as of now. I'm writing this because my whole small and boring town might be in danger. A week ago, I was taking my daily stroll through the local woods, going through the same trails I have been going for 37 years. The woods here are safe from any danger since this town was built on a nuclear waste dump from World War II. Yes, this town developed a whole different ecosystem and no dangerous animals can live here, and no, it's not dangerous to us since the actual waste is long gone. But the significant damage done to this land still remains. Anyway, to this day I still find new hidden trails to explore. Must have been a big sight, I guess. This particular day, I was walking down a new trail I found the day before. Wasn't very hidden, but still a new find. I walked around 10 or 15 minutes before I saw something that looked off. The mark was 10 feet away from this trail. It looked like some excavation was done to hide something, so I took a look. Indeed, branches and dry dirt were hiding this trail, which was going in between rows of trees that grew in such a way that there was no other entrance. Strange, I thought. I go through the dirt and branches with my hands and revealed yet another trail. Since this was more hidden, I thought I would explore it first and come back to this trail another day. So I went on my merry way. As soon as I entered on this new trail, it looked like it was out of this time. There were no sounds. I couldn't hear any birds or trees waving in the wind. Speaking of the trees, they looked normal, like the nuclear waste didn't touch them at all. This should have been the sign given by God that clearly reads, "Do not go there." But, of course, I didn't listen. I walked down the trail for about maybe an hour, but it seemed like time stood in place. Still, no sounds. Right when I thought of heading back, I saw something made out of concrete. Upon close inspection, I realized that there were ruins of a big building. Upon walking inside of it, I saw something in a corner. It was a trapdoor made out of heavy-duty metal and sealed with huge yellow locks, about a dozen of them. I wondered what it was hiding, but there was no way I could find out. Even more interesting, there was an old camera next to the trapdoor. I took the camera and decided to head back, since I thought it was getting late. I got home with no problems and decided to charge the old thing, since I'm a nerd and have been collecting old chargers and old stuff in general. When I woke up the next day, I powered up my laptop and connected the camera to it. On it, strangely, there was only 3 tapes, each named Tape 1, Tape 2, and Tape 3. What I saw on them marks me and has made me regret all the choices I've made to the point of getting my hands on the cursed object. Since this is where I wanted to get, I will transcribe what happened in those tapes word for word. Tape 1. No, 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 no! Not good at all. Mark! Mark! Do you hear me? Fuck! I need to get out of here. God, how could I be so careless? Why did I bring him into this? Why? The tape turned black for a few seconds and came back with some static lines across the screen. Okay, I need to calm down and think of a way to get out of here. Is this still on? Okay, it is. Good. In case I die, this will be proof that I am not going insane. Hello to whoever is going to see this recording. Hopefully, no one but me. My name is Alex, and I am an urban explorer that right now is in danger. The reason I came here is because I am an adrenaline junkie and I am also a curious person. The time of recording this is 12 AM. With me was my friend Mark, but he is gone now. It took him. Shit, I think I can hear it coming back after me. I need to get away. I need to find the spot I came in through. I will stop the recording so I can save battery. I will turn it on again once I'm safe. Then the recording cut off and the screen went black briefly before flickering back on. Well, I got myself deeper into danger than a mole's hole. I couldn't find the window we came in through, and it was catching up to me, so instead of going through the maze of holes, I took the decision that seemed best at the time, and I went up the stairs up to the 5th floor. This hospital is big, too big. It has 10 floors. Now, I'm in the closet hiding in one of the many rooms. I don't know where I am, since I booked it up the stairs and went into a random direction without looking for any details. All I remember is the thing gaining on me and my heavy breathing while I ran through the old molded hallways. The camera cut off again. When it came back, Alex was not talking. Instead, it was just heavy breathing and him recording through the small closet space in between the doors as something tall went by the room with inhuman speed. Then, the camera cut off and flickered back on once again. Since I am safe, I can give you more details about the hospital I am in. Firstly, this is not a normal hospital. It is a hospital that was used during World War II to treat patients from the wars and wounded hostages taken by the Nazis. It is located on the outskirts of my town, which is surrounded by forests in almost every direction except the entrance. But this was deep into the woods, even though there was a trail which I followed with my car to get to it. I came here with Mark when the sun was setting so we would get more of an experience, since we heard that this was supposedly haunted by the lost souls of tortured hostages and dead soldiers who seek revenge on the people who did them wrong and on everyone who crosses their path. He must be talking about the trail that led to the ruins from where I found the camera. Of course, neither me or Mark believed it. Now, I regret it anyway. The building is tall, made out of heavy old grey concrete. It still has some windows left, although they are almost broken up or cracked. You can't see through them since they are so old and dirty. The building has a barbed wire fence around it, well, what's left of it anyway. Once you get in the grey monster, you can see collapsed rooms that caved in on themselves. Old medical equipment is laying around like it's been left behind. They must have been in a hurry to get out of here. All the old beds with rusted metal frames and dirty mattresses that once used to be white, but now are grey and dirty. Dolls with different parts missing, and rusted wheelchairs, and an eerie vibe to the whole place. The first red flag Mark and I got was when one of the wheelchairs moved on its own. When that happened, we looked at each other for a minute and laughed it off, thinking it was the wind. Oh, how wrong we were. What I should also mention is that the building is not only tall, but long. We were on the 1st floor and adventured deeper and deeper until the spot we came through was not visible anymore. That's when everything started going wrong. Firstly, it started as whispers, a lot of whispers that seemed to be coming from old and rusty voices that almost growled more than whispered, and again we joked it out as the wind playing tricks. Then it went from 0 to 100 real fucking fast. As we turned the corner, making shitty jokes and talking about how creepy this place is and how odd those growls were, we heard what sounded like footsteps going into one of the rooms from the farther corridor. We looked at each other, now scared shitless. "Dude, we should go back." I remember Mark said to me. "What, are you a pussy?" I sat back, trying to look cool and prove that I'm the bigger guy. Dude, no, but that was not normal. You heard it too, and this time it wasn't wind. I'm sure of it. Yeah, well, look, how about we go after what we heard, and if we see something, we run back. Shit, fine, okay, Mark answered. Jesus Christ, these guys were stupid and reckless. I would have hauled ass as soon as I heard the whispers. And so, we continued down the moldy hallway. Dusty old paint hung from the walls like a half-peeled orange. Stupidly enough, we didn't follow the horror movie rule. Like, when you see something unusual at 11 PM in the night while exploring a World War II hospital that was used to torture people, you run and never look back and never come back. As we turned a corner to enter the room, we saw the creature go in. Mark told me one last thing. I will carry his words to my grave. In case anything happens, just know I love you, and thanks for being my friend. I just nodded and said I loved him as well. Then we went inside. We were expecting the worst, but there was nothing but a few old chairs and an empty old rusty bed. We thought we were safe. We really did. Mark saw something shiny in the room and he went to get it. Before I could tell him anything, that thing came from the second floor, through the hole where the roof of this room was supposed to be, and I watched it as it grabbed my friend by the neck and ran back upstairs. I was shocked, both by what just happened and by the fear that overwhelmed me, like waves hitting the shore. I couldn't comprehend what the hell just happened. I must have stood there for a solid 5 minutes before my ears registered the noise. God, that noise! It was a high-pitched screech like a demon being exorcised, multiplied by 100. That's the point my whole body went into fight or flight mode, and I started running down the hallways like a madman. Out of the corner of my eyes, I saw that thing. That fucking thing who took my friend coming after me with inhuman speed. I managed to cut a corner and it went past me. That's when I started to yell out for Mark. I know, real stupid move, but I was still in shock. After I yelled for him, it came for me again, and I ran all the way here to the 5th floor, flying over stairs like I was running the Olympics. The camera cut off here after a loud bang was heard. It flickered back on a few seconds later. Fuck, I hit a stupid camera with my foot and it turned off for a moment, but it's okay now, and I need to move again. It's coming up the stairs and I can tell it is getting closer, because it is calling me with Mark's voice. That motherfucker is trying to trick me now with my now dead friend's voice. I have to go. I will stop the recording here so I save more battery. Pray for me. This is where the first tape ends. After seeing this, I had a million questions and a million more thoughts. Firstly, what was the thing that Alex caught on his camera? Is it even real? Or is it a skit for some horror movie that was cut due to small budget? I guess the only way to find out is to keep watching the tapes, but I still need to do some research to see if this is a movie or not. I will update you once everything is done. After looking through the archives about my town, I found out that indeed this was a hospital used in World War II, just like Alex said in tape 1, which I found on the camera I found in the woods. But I found something more interesting by asking the old folks. One man in particular told me something that caught my attention, but also my curiosity and fear. He told me rumors about the hospital's basement being used to do experiments on captured enemies. The details about the experiments are vague. He mostly recalling what he heard ages ago. But he remembers that those rumors said something about crimes against humanity type experiments. What that means is anyone's guess. How does this help me in figuring out that my town might be in danger, you ask? Well, the trapdoor I found in that abandoned building had been covered with padlocks. I went back to the ruins to inspect them more for any marks and writings. What I found when I visited shook my core and made my feet feel like jello. The sealed trapdoor was now wide open, with locks and chains snapped and broken into pieces. It was clear that someone, or something, broke it by brute force, and it had a lot of force. Considering this, I hauled us back home. The only thing that could explain what or who broke the door was to watch tape 2. I powered the old camera up and plugged in my dusty laptop. I opened the camera folder and clicked on tape 2. What I saw on this tape scared me, and the image keeps playing on a loop in my head. Here it is as best I can transcribe. Tape 2. Fuck. Finally I managed to power up this thing, and I see it doesn't have a lot more battery. Currently it's 2 a.m. Close to the devil's hour, which is ironic, since I'm dealing with Satan's child, who ran away from hell to this cursed place. After I cut off the camera last time, I had to move. I tried going back down the stairs, but when I reached the 3rd floor, I felt faint, like my soul was already trying to fly away. I got to the 3rd floor, but when I went to the stairs that led to the 2nd floor, I found it there, waiting for me, staring at the stairs with a sickening smile that spread across its disfigured face, waiting in anticipation, knowing I had no other escape than to go through him. I would have accepted the fact that I am fucked and there is no way I can escape. When I saw that, I literally screamed at my legs to move, but all I got was a deadline. I couldn't move even if I saw 100 girls calling for me. Well, at least you had a good sense of humor to make up for the stupidness in you, I told myself, anticipating what would happen next. It started coming for me, but slowly, it was teasing me. I have seen that thing move at the speed of light, yet he chose to move slowly towards me. That demon found this funny. To make it worse, as it came towards me, he was scratching the old walls with his claw-ended hands. Right before he could grab me, my legs decided to work. I ran a marathon back up the stairs. This time, I did not stop at floor 5, I went all the way to floor 10. What I found there will forever be stuck in my head, engraved like the words that will be on my grave. I found this thing's happy playroom. It was decorated with old bones and cracked skulls, both animal and human, small and big. It had a very big collection of them. I can't even talk about what else is up here. I'll just have to show you. The camera cut off and it came back on after a few seconds of an empty dark screen. When it came to life, it came with a loud buzzing noise, scaring the shit out of me and making me swear. Alex was not speaking. I could only hear his heavy breathing reaching out through the sobs, but I could see exactly what he was seeing, and it broke me mentally. What remained of Mark was in the middle of a room covered with old dried up red liquids, organs, bones and body parts. The room was dimly lit with candles from corner to corner, and in the middle one was stuck in Mark's forehead. He was also surrounded by a pool of blood. There was so much you can almost smell the metallic taste through the camera. All his intestines were taken out and laid next to his corpse. His eyeballs now lay where his feet did and had holes through them. Some of his bones were ripped apart like chicken legs and broken in various places. His nails were ripped away from his fingers and toes by force and stuffed into his mouth along with some organs, enlarging the mouth and breaking the jawline beyond what I thought was possible. At this point, I needed another break. I grabbed the bin and threw up my lunch and breakfast. What the fuck did I just see? I thought I was slowly realizing that this might not be a shitty joke. nor a shitty movie skit. This was real. This happened at those ruins. I need to keep watching, but I feel so weak after seeing that gory scene. My knees turn to jello and I stumble to the trash can to throw up my lunch and breakfast. I need to go through this tape to find out what really went down. After catching myself up and wiping the vomit away from my face, I made up my mind. I need to steal this thing in the basement and lock it here. Since the trapdoor is made out of metal, I think it will hold. I will put a lot of chains and locks on it and make sure this hell won't see the light of day again. But I had to move because I could hear it coming. I ran and hid 5 rooms away from this thing's crib. This is where I'm recording now. I think I can... You can what, Alex? The tape has ended so abruptly. Something happened. Something really bad. But I don't feel I can watch another episode of a sick Jigsaw remake. I need to take some days off and rest to clear my head. I will update this as soon as I feel stable enough and as soon as my brain can function normally again. Alright. I think my head is clear enough to get this out there. I don't have much time left. I will explain everything after I transcribe the third and final tape. After the second one cut off like that, I honestly didn't know what to expect, but whatever I did expect was nothing like what I saw. When I opened the third tape, it took a few seconds to open as usual, but when it did, Alex was not speaking. Instead, he was running again somewhere, guessing away from the demon. When he finally stopped to rest and hide in some room, he spoke. Here are his words, transcribed as best I could. Fuck, okay, where was I? Oh, yes, my plan. So, I can't escape this demon since I can barely run anymore and I'm tired, too tired, but I think I can seal it. But the only place that can keep him locked is a basement that has a heavy-duty metal door. I have to make a run for it. I will lure him in there and try to lock the trapdoor since it's heavy-duty metal and that requires 5 people to open. As Alex's plan unfolded, the grim realization started to kick in. I am on the first floor now, 3 rooms away from the door. He is looking for me on the second floor as of now, so I have a little time to figure out how to lure him in. I thought of many things, but he is smarter than those ideas, so the only thing I have left to do is use myself. I will go down to the basement and stay as far away from the door as possible. When he runs for me, I will try to dash and run for the door. Close it and seal it away with the locks and chains I found on the 3rd floor. Yes, there were some chains and locks that I think were used to tie people to the bed back then. I must say, I thought, as stupid as he is, he's also brave. There is a small chance he will make it out alive. Well, the talking is done. Time for action. In case I don't make it, please, whoever finds this, tell my mother, Olivia, that I loved her. No way. I know who Olivia is. Or rather, who she was. She worked at a bakery that is just down the road from my house. She had a son named Alex who went missing years ago. When all hope was lost for her son, she committed suicide in her house by overdosing on her antidepressants. She was found the day after her suicide by the neighbors when she wasn't answering calls. There was a death note, but it was taken away by the police without context. Guess we will never find out what the note said. Alex cut off the camera for a brief second, guessing to grab the chains and locks. When the tape came on again, Alex was running. In the distance, you can hear the demon scream in a raspy voice. Those screams, God, those screams! They sounded like a million forks scratching ceramic plates. Alex ran faster and faster until he got to the metal door. He struggled to breathe due to the weight of the door as he strained to open it. When it was open enough for him to fit through, he flew over the steps. stopping inches away from the furthest corner of the room. As he gasped for air, the demon followed him in. When the demon saw Alex trapped, he spoke in that same raspy voice. "Where now, boy?" "You?" "Nowhere," replied Alex with a trembling voice. "I wouldn't be so sure of that. After I'm done with you, the town leading to this building is next," said the demon, smiling. "Come at me then, asshole," yelled Alex with all the might he had left. "Your funeral, kid," said the demon. Then he charged at Alex. Alex stood there repeating to himself as the creature came closer and closer. "Not yet, not yet, not yet." And, after a few seconds, I heard, "Now!" The creature charging was so close now it almost clawed Alex, but he managed to dodge so that the demon hit the wall. When it hit the wall, the camera shook and a bang, like an exploding bomb, was heard. "You motherfucker, you will pay for this," screeched the demon, but Alex didn't stop. Alex flew up the steps, but before he made it out, he looked back and, when he did, the creature clawed one of his legs clean off. Alex turned his head and crawled out the last step, now groaning in pain. Fuck, fuck, fuck. I need to do this quick before I bleed out. Alex was now frantically putting chains through the door handle and corners, and putting locks where he could. From behind the door you can hear the creature yelling for him and telling him how he will torture Alex when he gets out. Alex's hands, bruised and covered in blood, managed to put the last chain and lock. After he was done, he detached the camera and placed it on the ground in front of him, pointing at himself. For the first time, I saw his face, his poor face. He looked like he was in his 30s. He was covered with blood, both dried and fresh. His nose was leaking blood like a broken pipe. His lips had small cuts from place to place. His eyes were bloodshot and tired. His hair a mess. Well, shit. I won't make it out. I will bleed here alone. At least I managed to seal away this thing. If it somehow escapes, God have mercy on this poor little town. I don't know if it can be killed, but I know that he is hungry and angry and won't stop until everyone is dead. My story ends here. I will just take a nap, since I left my phone in the car and I can't call anyone, plus the battery of this camera is almost dead. I'll finally be reunited with Mark and Dad, and I'm sorry, Mom, I'll miss you. His soul was slowly drifting away from him, as his leg continued to bleed red substance. In his last moments, a small smile crept on his face as he closed his eyes to go to sleep, forever. He was happy he managed to save everyone else but him and had no regrets. Those were final words. Now I remember, his dad died in a car crash in 2010. After the tape finished, I unplugged the camera and placed it on my desk, planning to turn it to the police tomorrow since Alex's case is cold and this might lead to something. But I don't think I will make it till tomorrow. Remember when I said the trapdoor is opened? I found out who opened it. As I was taking the break for my brain to recover, I started noticing something strange. I live in a forested area, and behind my house there are trees and wildlife. I like to sit in my backyard and read while enjoying nature's sounds. Yesterday I was doing just that when I noticed it. There, behind some trees, stood a tall shadow, maybe 7 to 8 feet long. I took out my binoculars to take a closer look. What I saw made me freeze. That shadow was the demon from Alex's tape. It was real, and it was watching me at the very moment. I threw the binoculars on the ground and went inside to process what I saw. When I entered the building ruins, I think he started following me. The camera was a fucking trap. It was a lure. I had two choices as it was late. Either take the necessary things and run, or stay and give you guys the third tape. You already know what I chose. Besides, even if I ran, what were the chances it wouldn't come after me? Well, my whole town is going to disappear soon. As Alex said, this thing is hungry. Not only for food, but for revenge. I just looked through the window that sees into my backyard. The demon is now a few feet away from it. I also noticed how strange people, dressed in black with some type of weapons, started appearing in town. I think they know what is going on, and are here to make sure it won't get out. But the people in this town are doomed. Do not try to search for this town, you probably won't find anything anyway. But just stay away. This is my goodbye. I hope you learned something. Stay away from abandoned places, you don't know what you're walking into.